When outfitting a Jeep, Xtreme Outfitters is a place you want to go.
Whether you're a weekend warrior and you want to do some rock climbing or you want to do some bird hunting, they got you covered. They can build it if you can dream it.
They sure can. And we're going to show you how it's all done coming up next here on Motorhead Garage. You're not going to believe it. We got a heck of a treat for you this time. We got Will Hayden here from Red Jacket Firearms. And Will, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, guys. Glad to be here.
And you know, Will does that hit TV show on Discovery called Sons of Guns, and those guys do some mean stuff.
They really do. But what I want to find out is, why are you here in Kerrville, Texas?
Because Kerrville, Texas is the home of Xtreme Outfitters. And I've been going to Roy and his gang for the last few years for all of our truck work. And I've got a special Rubicon Jeep ordered from Ancira in town here, just because they're next door to Roy. And they are going to make this thing right for me.
It's like the Jeep's here.
Looks like it.
Yeah, that's what he ordered.
Last piece of the puzzle,
Yes,
Roy.
sir.
Hey, folks, I want you to meet Roy Ward, who is the president here of Xtreme Outfitters. And we've got Jared Ashley here from Ancira.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Jared, finally got her here.
Yeah, 10th anniversary Rubicon, most capable Jeep out of the box.
You know, this is all stock right now, and we're going to do a whole lot of things to it. Is this something you guys normally do there at Ancira?
Yes, we do quite a bit of them. Actually, if you want one, we have a couple of them already lifted up on the lot. We have a JK8 available that Xtreme built for us. We order Jeeps custom for anybody, and it's ready to go.
Okay, Jared, thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
All right. Okay, man, let's see what Will and Sam are up to over here.
Well, buddy, look at all these parts. They're going to fix you up in good shape here.
It's an amazing collection. I wouldn't know what to do with the 10th of it.
Well, we got lighting, got to have lights. We got Xhd Industries LED lights. We got these nice candy apple deals that are going to go over the wheels. You got baller exhaust. You got Xtreme Outfitters gun rack. Look at
Now
that.
that I know what to do with.
Roy, what all do you have here? I mean, you got a lot of stuff.
Well, we want to give Will everything that he's looking for. We want to give him the right suspension package to give him the comfort and also to go on off-road. We've got the good tires here. You got Mickey Thompson's. We got them on 35s. We've got leather interior for him, but it is still rugged with him. Warren winch, just in case he decides to bury this thing, which we know he's going to do.
You know I wouldn't do that.
We got rugged ridge. They're going to take care of the accessories, the skid plates. We're going to beef up a lot of things, put some bumpers on there, and just get him going. I've got my guys here behind. They're ready to work for you, Will, and get this thing put together.
And speaking of beefing up, you got to beef up the front and rear axles. I got something from Artec Industries right over here I'm going to go work on.
Well, it looks to me like you're going to be traveling in comfort.
We better. Well, you know, I think a lot of this comes from Roy fixing my Jeeps for the last 3 years. He knows my damage spots. And I told him, you know, why don't you just start from the ground up, give me something I can take to the ass into hell and have some fun when I get there.
Well, I think you're going to, but I'll tell you what, you still have the suspension over here from Terraflex, and that looks like that's going to give you a better ride, too.
Well, is that for comfort or is that for rugged?
That's both. We're going to give you both, Will, in one package.
Oh, I'm a fan of both.
Well, I'll tell you what, now Sam is already working on the front and rear axles. It takes a little bit more time for those. Let's see what he's got.
All right, I'm here with Artie Nuttall. He's the president of Artec Industries. Now, this is the front end out of the Jeep. And of course, what you have is axle tubes that are pushed into this housing. If you're doing potholes, that's one thing. But if you're doing some serious rock crawling, you smack the axle, you bend the tubes, you bend the spindles. Now, your weekend's ruined. If you've trailed 500 or 600 miles to an event, guess what?
You're done.
Yeah, you're done. You're going home. So what they did at Artec Industries, they come up with this really nice bridge, which we have on the Jeep. And this is pretty good size steel here, buddy. This is what, 1/4 inch?
Yeah, it's 1/4 inch, and it's designed specifically for us. So, you know, it's got good formability when we're bending this stuff up and cutting it. It's all laser cut. It's going to jig together really nice and easily. Going to reinforce the axle.
Absolutely. And you can see how this thing comes in pieces. So what you do is you assemble it, put it together, get it on your axle where it needs to be. Once it's in place, then you're going to tack weld it. Once it's tacked, you take it apart, you get inside and weld it, and this is all going to be good welding practice.
Exactly. I mean, you got to get a competent welder. Typically, to install the whole kit, it's about 4 hours.
Yeah, because you got to disassemble the axles, get the tubes out, all that kind of stuff. Once this is welded in place, now the axle's good and strong. You're not going to hurt it. You can have these little supports here that strengthen the spindles.
Exactly, and you know, we got that for the upper and the lower on the inner C, as well as you know, a nice skid plate for the lower control arm brackets here. Right. Not only is it going to reinforce the bracket, but it's also going to protect the joint by wrapping around those brackets.
One of the other things, the OEs, this is a sheet metal bracket for your track arm. They have a nice bracket here. This is, again, 1/4-inch steel.
Exactly.
It's all laser cut and formed. You're going to whack this off and then weld this on it.
Exactly. And keep in mind, you know, that track bar bracket, if that fails, you've lost control of the entire vehicle.
So here's a great way to go. You get one of these kits, put it on. Again, make sure you got a good welder. You do it right. Weld a little bit at a time so you don't draw the tubes up. When this is all installed, all these pieces on here, they have the same thing, by the way, for the rear axle. You get a complete kit. You can check out their website for more information. Right now, we need to take a break. We have a lot more coming on our Jeep, so don't go away.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by Locar Performance Products, is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology, and by Hurst, America's #1 shifter, and by Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GM A-body parts and accessories, and by Borla, the world's most winning exhaust.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, as you can see, we've done a lot of work on this Jeep in the meantime. One of the things that we did do is we had to take this front axle and the rear axle off, send those things out, and what we've done is we've had the Artec truss here installed on that. This will give that axle a lot more strength, beefed up all the way across. Got everything back installed, got all our old suspension off, and we started to go back with some of our new. Got our bump stop up in here. We've got a rubber mount up here. You want to make sure that goes in. And next thing, Roy, is I guess we put in our spring, right?
Spring in.
All right, so let's go ahead and push this down. Now, one thing about the spring, if you look right here, this little end of the spring is going to match up with a little notch right down in here, so you want to make sure you rotate that around and put that in there. All right, push her down in there. There we go. And let me turn this around. Now we got that. Next step is we got our shock absorbers on. Let's see what Sam's doing there in the back.
The suspension on these Jeeps is really pretty simple. We're making it a lot more rugged with the TerraFlex unit. What we did is we put these big control arms in. You can see they're a lot more rugged than the factory ones. They're beefier and they're longer because we're putting a longer suspension travel in. They've got to move more. And a couple things you want to do. There's a little clip here and a bolt that holds the brake line in. When you're swinging the rear end down, you don't want to put a lot of strain on this, so you loosen it up. Also, we've got a little bracket that comes in the kit that'll lower the brake line, so as the suspension travels more, you won't tug on it. Also, you got your ABS wheel speed sensor wiring. Don't break it out of the sensor. And of course, we've got a limit strap. It's going to bolt here. These are nice and rugged. It's going to limit the travel of the suspension. And you can see this is the stock Jeep spring. Here's the TerraFlex spring. 3-inch lift. It's a lot beefier spring. It's going to have the rubber hat on the top. And of course, it's going to sit on the spring perch here. We're also going to put a positive stop, or a little bracket to hold the spring. That sits inside the spring. There's a hole in the spring perch. There's a slot in the front of it. Funny to get your fingers in there, but you can get in there, put this nut on it. That way the spring's not going to move around. Got plenty of brakes on these Jeeps from the factory, so you don't have to upgrade the brakes unless you're doing crazy stuff. We got our extended bump stop in place. I'm ready to start putting the spring in. I just need a little help. And I know, Roy, that Dave's making a career, but come and help me, buddy.
Yes, sir. I'm going to be right here for you.
All right. So I see this has got a notch in the bottom, but there's no place to index it here. It doesn't matter, does it?
That's correct. You'll see it in the top here. If you can, I'm going to get behind you there and work the jack so I can get the rear end up for you.
Great. Okay, I'll slide this up. We'll get this spring in place, and then we'll be able to put our shock absorber on.
How did I get roped into doing this? I'm supposed to be observing here.
That's all right. Here we go.
Anyway, this goes in just like any other shock. Just make sure you get everything lined up properly. You got that in there. Yep. We get the nut on there. And we can tighten that down. We'll get the bottom in there. And you can see these are Fox shocks. And these are pretty high performance shocks, aren't they?
Yes, they are. And they're actually tuned for the suspension kit. Yeah, and it's a reservoir shock, and we actually make this piece here, so it makes it look nice, plus it keeps the reservoir mounted nicely. So
and it makes it a little bit cooler for these things, too.
Yes, yes. All
right, let's see how Sam's coming along with his side of it, because I'm getting ahead of him, I think.
All right, now, if it comes to installing these shocks, just like anything else, this one's got the little bat wings at the top. A couple of bolts that go in here, they look like 10 millimeter. They got a 16 millimeter head. We're not going to tighten up all the way because we got it up there so it's good and rugged. These Fox racing shocks, by the way, they're awesome. I'm going to go in here, and now if you can raise it up a little bit, I'll Up a little bit, up a little bit. But there you go, perfect.
There you go.
So what we have here is just a standard nut and bolt. These bolts, by the way, are very tough. They're very hard. We got that done.
All right, I think we're a little bit ahead of Sam here. Now we're going to go ahead and put on our link to our sway bar. Now, this has got a 3-inch lift, so you make sure that you do this because you're going to have a little bit longer link on here, right?
Yep.
All right, so let's see if we can get this in here. I got my side done. All I have to do is tighten that up, and we're in business, and we can raise this up.
We've got it all just about buttoned up. Just follow the instruction, go step by step, and it all comes together. We're about ready to put this up. Right now, we need to take a break. We got a lot more coming on our Jeep. You don't want to miss this, so stick around. Well, you got the Jeep up in the air now, and I've drained the differential. Pull this cover off. And of course, this is a stamped steel cover. We're going to replace it with a really nice forging. And of course, this is an RTV seal, so we're going to clean this all up good. Put our RTV on there. That means room temperature vulcanizing. Give it some time to set up. Put it on and torque it right. And this is from rugged ridge to forging. When you bolt this up, that adds a lot of rigidity to this housing. Keeps your saddles from moving around when you're really torquing it. And of course, we've got our truss on here, and I've actually seen in magazines where they don't have a truss and you abuse it, you crack the housing right there, pull these tubes out. So I'll clean this up, get all this old RTV off here, bolt this on, and then of course, we'll have to put the proper rear end fluid back in it.
All right, now I'm putting on the front cover here on our differential. You know, Sam mentioned this was 3/4-inch steel. There's a good reason for this, especially on the front. It not only adds strength to the front axle, but you got to remember, if you're driving down the trail or off-road somewhere and you're hitting rocks and things, an old stamped steel one on there is going to bend up. This is going to be real tough. It's going to take a lot of that pounding. Now, one thing you want to do, make sure you get all these bolts in loose to start with. Make sure you put on your sealing around the edge. Don't overdo it. And then once you get them all in, then run them all down and tighten them in a crosshatch pattern. That way, you'll get a good seal. Once I finish this up, I'm going to help Sam with the exhaust system.
What we have here is boiler exhaust, all stainless, custom made for these Jeeps. It fits like a glove. It's a nice muffler. It's going to sound good too, and it's got all the hangers on it. And it fits together. That slide right in there. I'll hold this up, and Davey, can you thread that tailpipe?
All right, I got it.
All right.
Get that lined up there.
Lined up, pick the back up a little bit.
Yeah, as pretty as these exhaust systems are, it's too bad nobody sees them underneath the truck.
Come on, slide it on. There you go, there you go. Perfect.
It's just the angle of the dangle, dude.
That's right, and you line it up here with the hanger on.
And there it goes.
There, mine's on. And they got these nice slots and these great clamps. We'll clamp it up, and we're done. All right, now we're putting on our skid plates. We have two. One goes over the front, one goes over the transfer case. The rear one, our transfer case one, needs to go on first. Put this up, put a bolt through it. Now we're not going to tighten these bolts up yet because we're going to have to take this back down to put the front one up. I get a bolt started in here.
We're going to get one started here, Sammy.
Okay, hold on, I can help you. All right.
Got that one started. Okay.
When you get that one up, let me know.
Got it.
Oh, we needed this one here to hold the front. Now, these skid plates are rugged made and they're not light. You can see they're real heavy gauge steel. They're really going to protect your drive shaft, your oil pan, and your transfer case transmission. This little access panel is, the lower engine oil pan is here in the drain plug, so you want to be able to pull that out. You can change your oil without having to move your skid plate. That's critical. There's some straps that come in the kit. These are all welded and gusseted. They hang down, they bolt to the motor mount. Let's lift this up. You ready to hold that and take a bolt out?
Okay.
All right. Now you go through there,
And back up again. Raise your front up. There you go.
And we'll tell you what, these skid plates are real important. You know, I was talking about this little tin oil pan here. This thing's got a big rugged aluminum oil pan with, must have better than a 3/4-inch thick flange. It's an all aluminum engine. So they put the tin pan in the bottom. You want to bolt on one of these skid plates like this, a good one, so you don't damage it. How you doing back there?
All right, we'll run this up.
Oh, you're making a lot of noise.
That's for the boss to hear.
I hear you.
All right, we got this on. We're going to drop it down. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got a lot more coming, so stay with us.
This week on the Steel Rubber Products Spotlight is a one-of-a-kind 1966 Ford Falcon. And Glenn C. from the Garage Mahal completed this in just 70 days.
That's right, Eric. We were running very quickly to get this up here to the show this year, and we just wanted to put it in and have a little tribute to the late, great Carol Hull Shelby and to Mr. Ron Senowich.
Now, tell me a little bit about Ron in this car.
Well, Ron was a well-known builder around the Atlanta area in Ford muscle cars, and this was always his pet project. It always got put to the side. He never got to finish it, his wife was telling me, and he lost a battle with cancer in 2010. I said, I'd love to take on the project. Let's do it.
But I know one thing I noticed, and I think was laying around the garage that you put in here, is the 428 Cobra Jet.
Yes, Ron had collected Shelby Cobra parts for the car. Carol recently passed. Let's bring it all together in one car. We added the 66 scoops, the tail fin, put on the pearl blue and white paint, and kind of took it to that next level.
And if Carol Shelby ever did a Falcon, it would look a lot like this.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by Low-Car Performance Products, is being brought to you by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company, and by Xtreme Parts World, the RV and Xtreme Parts Superstore, and by VR12, Ultimate Cooling System Protection, and by Fat Man Fabrications, the hot rod innovators.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, now we're getting ready to put on our Rugged Ridge bumpers, and we've also put on this little light guard here.
These go on real simple, 4 screws. You take off the factory stainless little ring, and these go on, and just watch where your little tabs are. Rugged Ridge makes these so to protect your lights. When you hit brush and stuff, it really does a great job.
Now, before you put on your Rugged Ridge bumper, what you have to do, get the old one off, you find this little vacuum pump right here. Now, it's mounted a little different right now, but what you have to do is relocate it because this bumper plate here goes right across here. So Rugged Ridge has included a nice little remounting bracket right here that'll bolt right to the back of the plate.
This is really a nice little feature on this Jeep. The vacuum pump tied to your booster, when you step on the brakes, it holds the brake on for a couple seconds, gives you a chance to go from the clutch to throttle, grab a gear, and then the brakes will release. That way you don't roll back.
We already got this set up here, and next thing you got is protect this.
That's right. This is your anti-roll sway bar, and you know, it controls the front of the Jeep from twisting and so on. This is operated with an actuator. From the factory, these Rubicons are very well equipped, but they got a little air dam here. We need to protect this with a Rugged Ridge skid plate, which is going to go right underneath here and do a good job.
All right, let's get our plate up here, Sam.
And you can see, of course, on this plate, we got a roll of fair lead here. We're going to put a 10,000-pound Warn winch. And of course, the winch is real high technology. It's got a control head on it that you can take and remote mount. I'll go ahead and hold this up. You want to start putting those brackets in?
Yeah. Got the front bumper on, folks.
You did a pretty good job in this. The bumper, we got the Rugged Ridge skid plate, and of course we got this nice Warn winch with a roll of fair lead. Now this has got a cable on it. You don't want to use a cable, they're dangerous. They snap, they got a lot of energy. You want to use a synthetic rope. We're going to convert this, take the cable off, put a nice synthetic rope on it, change out the fair lead, and it's going to be a nice product. Well, I'm going to go back and put the bumper on the back.
Okay, now this was a fairly simple thing to put in here, but the guy that designed all this and brought it to us is Patrick Bennett from Rugged Ridge. And Patrick, nice piece you built here.
Appreciate it.
Now tell me a little bit more about this.
Well, what we did was we brought our modular bumper system, which we are known for, and we developed a lightweight aluminum version. This is our Xhd Aluminum Bumper. It's smaller, lighter, more compact, but still has the same modular features where you can add additional features, whether it's extended ends, stubby ends. The overrider, which is a traditional piece that rides up and over, bolts up in the same place. In this case, it's our new striker bar, which protects the winch, a little more protection for the front without being too large and too aggressive for some of the off-road customers.
Pretty nice unit here, and of course we got our skid plate underneath here.
Very important.
So that is nice. You got your shackles here for towing.
The bumper comes with full D-rings so that you're complete for towing and pulling and extracting other stuck vehicles other than Jeeps.
Yeah. Anyway, also really a nice beefy unit here. Let's check out Sam.
Got a lot going on back here. You can see this Jeep is looking terrific. Got our Rugged Ridge taillight guards. Again, so you don't break out your taillights. And of course, this bumper is really rugged and good looking. Got nice big toe shackles on it. Remember, these bumpers are aluminum from Rugged Ridge. In fact, that front bumper, as rugged as it is in aluminum, it's lighter than the plastic bumper that the factory puts on the Jeep. The nice finish touch here with this beautiful roll stainless polished tip from Bowler. But here's one of the pieces I really like. This is from TerraFlex. A rear spare tire carrier, bolts into all the original bolt holes. There's no drilling. Push the button and open the tailgate. It works fine. And this is fully adjustable. So you got small tire, big tire. This is fully adjustable. What I'm going to do is put a tire on it. I got a bracket that's going to mount here. I'm going to show you something quick on your high lift jack. You're going to love it. While I'm doing this, putting it together, let's see how Davey's making out. All right, now here comes the best part. Putting on the light bars. Now what we're putting on here, these are LED lights from Xhd, and I'll tell you, these are bright. They light up the night. They're all waterproof, they're heavy duty, they're almost indestructible. Now what makes it nice is with Xhd, they already have these brackets that you can mount them right here on the post. Use the original bolts here, and then all you do is you go ahead and you'll bolt your light right through here, and there you go. Now we also have another light bar, a big one, that I'll put up in a minute, but Sam's got something in the back that he wants to show you. He's got a real surprise. You know, when you go off-road, you have a checklist. Beer, cooler, food, first aid kit. One of the things you're never going to go into the woods without is your high lift jack. And everybody knows these will get you out of trouble. They're good around the farm, the ranch, but you got to have it on your rock crawler. These things are invaluable. This is a nice bracket. TerraFlex makes, bolts right onto this tire carrier, and you can see we got a big tire on here. This is right here, nice and rugged. You tighten it up, it's got a spacer. It doesn't rattle. And the neat part is, with the tire and the high lift jack, this opens up and closes easily. Perfect. We go and help Davey out, because he's going to be there all night with those lights. All right, bud, you want to take that? This is awesome. What a light bar. This is a 50-inch bar, again, from Xhd. All LED lights in this thing. This lights up the night like you can't believe. And these Xhd LEDs, they are just about bulletproof. There you go. We got a lot more to do, but this is all we have time for today. Now, you want to stay with us for next week, because we're going to finish this bad boy up. We got some surprises for you. Plus, we're going to go out to the Insera Jeep Jamboree, and we're going to test this baby, and we're going to put it through jumps, rock crawling, the whole deal. You're not going to want to miss it. See you next week here on Motorhead Garage. So long. Did you have a little wrench here for me? I'll just hold it. Just use those massive fingers you got.